Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to talk War of the Visions meta like we do every month. However, this month you are going to see a disappearance of young Helena from the top 10. And while some people might be celebrating that, and rightfully so, she had her place at the top, I'm not sure it actually represents a nice place in the meta for us, because we have some units in this game right now that I feel are significantly better than everyone else. And while we've had individual units who've met that mark, you know, Starlight Helena, Dwayne when he came out, Black Rose Helena when she came out, I don't know that we've ever had as many of those units in a short amount of time as we have right now. In fact, I feel like, and I'm keeping Ashen King Mont's picture on the screen as long as I can here, because I actually felt pressured to pull for this guy when I realized he was Sword Knight. And not because I wanted him in particular, although I do look how cool this character is, like I did want him, but because my favorite unit in the game is Squall, and I like playing Sword Knight, and I felt like I basically have to have the newest and hottest Sword Knight if I even want to compete at the top levels, which I obviously do as a content creator and as somebody who doesn't want to embarrass my, higher ranked guild. But I don't know that that represents a healthy place in the game, and maybe now more than it ever has been before, War of the Visions has found itself in a place where if you don't have one of the top 4 or 5 newest meta units, it's going to be hard to even build counters for what the meta is. I'm going to break all that down here in a second, but first, look, I don't recommend this because I already have enough coins for pity, but I'm throwing 2,000 at my boy Mont right here. This is for content. Give me a gold book. Oh, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it, could they? Okay, come on. This would be so great. You want to talk about a great way to start this video would be saving me from pity, because Advent Children is something I was very excited for, and Ashen King Mont has burned through every ounce of Visior basically that I have, and he will continue to do so. So at this point, I'm just going to have to go pity him with coins. I will wait for the last 2 days of our free tickets to come in, but it's going to cost me even more Visior to build this guy up, and I probably need to be reincarnating him based on how strong he is. Oh man, okay, so that feels bad, but let's go talk about the meta. That's what we're here for today. So here you go. Here's a look at your top 10 units in the top 25 guilds in the game. Notice this clear gap between these 4 brand new units. Water Joom, A2, Ashen King Mont, who's only been out for less than a week, already at 3rd, and Strategist Oldoa. Why this, I feel like, is a little bit more of a problem than just one dominating unit is, at least when, let's take young Helena, our latest example of this, who has been pushed off of the top 10 on Guild Wars offense. At least when it was her, you basically knew you were going to be running into mage teams. You're like, okay, I can build anti-mage the best I can and give myself a fighting chance against these, against these Helena teams. Here what we have is Greatsword, Sword Knight, tank, and then a bunch of units that they are basically carrying, right? And so you don't know exactly what you're going to run into. You can probably count on finding a couple Greatsword teams out there if you want to try to build into those, but they're so hard to kill and do so much damage. It's not exactly simple, and I'm scared about the fact that with Advent Children coming out, I look at Sephiroth, for example, I look at Cloud, and I feel like they're going to kind of be in this same vein, and I worry for people who are trying to play the game using only what they want, but have always been able to just like maybe snipe one pretty meta character, put it into a team using units that they want, and still compete if they're clever about matchmaking. And I think that is healthy for the game, and it's always been the case. War of the Visions historically has done a good job of taking care of older units, except for like Eileen, right? She got the hose, but except for Eileen, older units have been kept usable. And I really do worry about my, even about my Squall, who is somebody I max reincarnated. He's not that old, but I feel like he is close to being just purely outclassed by units that are newer than him. And again, he's only been out for what, a few months? And so I don't love that. I just worry. Anyway, here's the meta breakdown. You can see your top 4 units are those obvious ones I just talked about, and then here's the other units that they're kind of carrying up the ranks with them, right? 2P, Lucio, Halloween, and King Bradley, because they're Earth with Ashen King Mont coming on up. King Bradley also Sword Knight, so that helps his case. You still have your Asterisk the Erudite for those great sword teams. Oh, excuse me, still feeling a little sick. Ally the Alabaster still hanging in there with 2P, so some striking units still up there. And okay, there you go. For your Guild Wars defense, for your top 25 guilds, your top 10 units are these. You see a little bit of a difference here with Young Helena and Wing Stern, who Wing Stern, to his credit, is one of those units that has just aged pretty well. He's continued to be useful. And then Young Helena barely hanging on in the top 10 in Guild Wars defense, but your top 4, once again, I feel like if you're not running one of those at the highest end of the game, what are you doing? Like, you're probably trolling a little bit. And I know on my offense team, I'm running those top 2, Joom and A2, and I'm mixing in either another greatsword unit or support. And yeah, that's what I have to do. I would like to play Squall, but I honestly felt like to play Squall, I would be pressured to play Ashen King Mont. And so who I worry about are not the top 25. Well, what I worry about for the top 25 guilds is I don't know that the spenders in this game can really deal with any more pressure to spend before they start looking for other places to dump their money. And so there needs to not be another big step up in power for a long time. Like, that would be my advice to developers. Like, you have characters here that are going to be as good as your Advent Children characters. You have the Advent Children characters that are going to come out and be good. I would suggest keeping it right there for a long enough time that people have a chance to, like, lightly spend and catch up to the meta a little bit. That's my hope. And then continue to buff your older units. Okay, but that's not what this video is really about. I want to expand this out to the top, instead of 25, let's do top 250 guilds. So we'll take that times 10. And here's your top 10 units there, and you can see this is where a unit like Young Helena is going to hang on a little bit better because so many people got her that, you know, she will just continue to be good. She carries Vivian Roth up there, you know, 2 very popular units as well, so she's kind of keeping them relevant. And if we spread all the way out to the top 500, which includes some very casual players, a lot of players who come and go from the game, Sephiroth, I probably never leaves this list. And this is actually kind of a good sign, in my opinion, because Advent Children will bring a lot of those people who visit the game, visit and leave, like during collaborations. It is important to make your new Sephiroth very good because, you know, look how long old Sephiroth has hung on with the more casual players. And I feel like newer Sephiroth might have that same impact. Although I don't know that this Final Fantasy VII collab will be nearly as big as our first 2, right? So there we go. That's the breakdown of the meta. I'm not all doom and gloom about it. I just do concern myself with how powerful the newest, most powerful characters have been lately. So there you go. That's my take on all of that. I'm now going to do it live for you guys. Should I just go ahead and pity this guy? No, I'm going to throw 500 paid. Watch this, 500 paid YOLO poll. 500 paid? 50 paid YOLO poll. Uh-oh. It's not going to change, is it? This would be the most epic switch to a rainbow. It didn't do it. It did not rainbow switch. It's just Liarte. Uh-oh. Okay, please summon tickets the next 2 days. Bail me out. Either way, that's it for the meta breakdown today. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're feeling the squeeze kind of like I am. I would love to hear about it in the comments section. And remember, use my link to get your mom some presents for Mother's Day. Okay, see y'all next time. Peace.